الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. يروي الإمام البخاري في صحيحه عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال. The hadith is a collection of Imam Bukhari narrated to us by Ibn Abbas, and the theme is talking about the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام's relationship with the youth and their presence in his life عليه الصلاة والسلام. And I'm specifically not going to narrate a hadith where he talked about them, because that's too direct and it's too obvious. But rather, I'm just going to point out small little things that some of the youth said, they observed, they felt in his presence, alayhi salatu wasalam, that I think that was to me more meaningful when I was reading about the topic, when I was learning it when I was a bit younger. And this is a really, really nice hadith. Ibn Abbas has a lot to tell because he's the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam's younger cousin, right? Ibn Abbas, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he was a family man. First and foremost, he was a person who loved his family, alayhi salatu wasalam. He loved his relatives. He taught Silat al-Rahim, and he performed that wholeheartedly all his life, alayhi salatu wasalam. He took care of Ali ibn Abi Talib, he took care of Ja'far. He loved his uncles, he took care of them. He cared for Abbas, and he cared for all their children and their grandchildren. And Abdullah ibn Abbas was a bright young kid. That when the Prophet ﷺ passed away, he was barely a teenager. He was very young. But because the Prophet ﷺ gave him this extra attention, he learned so much. And this hadith is very short, but this is what Ibn Abbas said. قال جاء يوما رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فضمني ثم قال اللهم علمه الكتاب. That's it. So one day the Prophet ﷺ came and he hugged me. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He gave me a hug. And then he said, "Oh Allah, teach him the book. Grant him the knowledge of this book. Alimhu al-kitab." You see, it was an informal moment of free, unsolicited, no strings attached affection and encouragement indirectly. You see, Ibn Abbas, when he heard that da'wah, he created his fate, radiallahu anhu, through the da'wah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. The Prophet made dua for him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's acceptance of this dua is not going to mystically force Ibn Abbas to become a scholar. It was Ibn Abbas hearing the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam make that dua and deciding, I'm going to see through that fate, that destiny that he gave me alayhi salatu wasalam, and become a scholar of the book. And he did. فَصَارَ تُرْجُمَانِ الْأُمَّةِ وَحَبْرَ الْقُرْآنِ. He became the greatest scholar of the Qur'an of all time. Every instance you want to learn one of the verses in the Quran, you want to know what it means, you're going to go back and look, what did Ibn Abbas say about this? How did he understand it? What was his commentary about it? I'm always interested. I can't really accept the tafsir of an ayah without searching and if I don't know what Ibn Abbas said directly, I'll look for what Mujahid said, or Qatada, or Dhahak. I'll look at one of his students. What did they say? Because they must have learned whatever it meant from whatever they heard from their teacher. Maybe they forgot to narrate it to him, but they learned it from him. And just the fact that the Prophet ﷺ would just, without any necessary reason, with no needed reason, he would just come up to a young person and give him a hug. This was the prophetic way of him ﷺ, showing affection to people who are younger, making sure they feel valued and they feel seen. Because sometimes you can't do that with a conversation, because they don't know anything yet, and there's nothing to talk to them about, and everything they say, so the only thing you can do really is maybe give them a hug. At least there's something in it for them. And hani'an li Ibn Abbas, right? How lucky is Ibn Abbas? ضمني رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام. I have a teacher who could never tell this hadith without crying. He could never get through the first word. He could never get through it. He could never say the words without tearing up. ضمني رسول الله. The Prophet ﷺ came and he took me close and he hugged me close. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But that's how he took time. He took time for this. So what I'm trying to point out to you is someone who took time to do this, to see the younger person and make sure that they knew that they were seen and that they were loved and that he had a vision for them. See, this dua that he's making is not something now. Oh Allah, grant him. No, he's not saying grant him wealth, grant him strength. He's talking about a long-term plan. Allahumma allimhu al-kitab. He knows this is a long-term plan for you, because it takes years to learn. But he's making sure that this person feels loved, feels seen, and that I think about you and I have plans for you. I would like you one day to be, there's a potential within you. All of that within a simple gesture from him, alayhi salatu wasalam. Imagine if he didn't do it. And we lost Ibn Abbas. If we didn't have him, Ibn Abbas was just another Sahabi who we know, but we don't. Imagine if he didn't become who he became and offered us all the knowledge that he offered us, and all of the narrations that he carried for us, and all the things he told us about the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He's one of the Sahaba who not only explained the Quran and narrated the Hadith, but he also gave us, he's a main source of seerah for us, radiallahu anhu. All with the hug of Rasulullah عليه الصلاة والسلام and the da'wah of him. يروي الإمام البخاري في صحيحه عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال جاء يوما رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فضمني ثم قال اللهم علمه الكتاب. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت استغفرك